My beloved brothers and sisters, as the blessed month of Ramadan slowly comes to an end, our hearts prepare for the joy of Eid al Fitr. It is a day of gratitude, a day of unity, and a day when every Muslim should be able to smile with dignity. One of the beautiful acts of worship connected to this day is Zakat al Fitr. This charity is not just about giving food or money. It is about purifying our fasts and ensuring that those who are struggling can also experience the happiness of Eid. But my brothers and sisters, Islam is a religion of guidance and wisdom. Charity must be given correctly to the right people and in the right way. The first group, we should not give Zakat al Fitr to our people who are wealthy and self-sufficient. If someone already has enough wealth to live comfortably, they do not qualify to receive this charity. Sometimes emotions guide us to give to relatives who are already well off simply because they are family. But remember, Zakat al Fitr is not a social gift, it is an act of worship. Its purpose is to support those who genuinely struggle. When we give to those who already have plenty, we may unintentionally take away the right of someone who truly needs it. The second group includes those whose financial responsibility already lies on your shoulders. Islam teaches us responsibility before charity. If someone depends on you for their basic needs, you cannot use Zakat al Fitr as a substitute for your duty. A parent must provide for their children, and a husband must provide for his wife. These responsibilities come first. Charity cannot replace what you are already obligated to provide. The third group includes your parents and grandparents. Islam places parents in an incredibly high position. They cared for us when we were helpless, they sacrificed their comfort for ours, and they constantly prayed for our success. If your parents are in need, you must support them from your own wealth, not from Zakat al Fitr. Helping them is not charity, it is your responsibility and a way to show gratitude for everything they have done for you. The fourth group is your children and grandchildren. Just as parents cared for us when we were young, we are responsible for caring for our children. Providing for their needs is part of our duty. Providing for their needs is part of our duty. Giving them Zakat al Fitr would not be valid because they are already under your financial care. Instead, spend on them generously from your own wealth and do so with love and sincerity. The fifth group is your spouse. A husband cannot give Zakat al Fitr to his wife because he is already responsible for her financial support. Marriage in Islam is built upon responsibility, compassion, and care. When a husband fulfills his duty toward his wife, he is already performing an act of worship. The sixth group includes those who openly reject or oppose Islam. Zakat al Fitr is specifically meant to help needy Muslims so they can celebrate Eid with dignity. The purpose of this charity is to strengthen the Muslim community and ensure that every believer can experience the joy of Eid. My dear brothers and sisters, when we follow these guidelines, we protect the true spirit of charity. We ensure that the poor are not forgotten, that families fulfill their responsibilities, and that our acts of worship are accepted by Allah. Remember, charity given in the right way can change lives. A small amount of food placed in the hands of someone who has nothing can bring tears of gratitude and a smile of hope. And perhaps that one sincere act of kindness could be the reason Allah forgives us and grants us His mercy. So as we approach Eid, let us give wisely, give sincerely, and give with hearts that seek the pleasure of Allah. And may Allah accept our fasting, our prayers, and our charity. Ameen. My beloved brothers and sisters, as we approach the beautiful celebration of Eid al Fitr, we are reminded of one of the important acts of worship connected to the end of Ramadan, and that is Zakat al Fitr. This special charity carries a powerful purpose. It purifies our fasting from any shortcomings and ensures that even the poorest members of the community can experience the joy of Eid. Islam is a religion built upon compassion, balance, and justice. Every act of worship has wisdom behind it, and when it comes to charity, Islam gives us clear guidance about who should receive it. It's one of the first groups of people who should not receive Zakat al Fitr are those who are wealthy and self-sufficient. If a person already possesses enough wealth, savings, food, or resources to comfortably meet their needs and the needs of their family, then they do not qualify to receive this charity. The purpose of Zakat al Fitr is to help those who are struggling, those who may not even have enough food to celebrate the day of Eid. When we understand this wisdom, we begin to see how Islam protects the rights of the poor and ensures that charity reaches the people who truly need it. Sometimes emotions can make this matter confusing. Perhaps we have relatives who are financially comfortable, but because they are family, we feel inclined to give them something. There is nothing wrong with giving gifts or showing generosity to family members. In fact, maintaining family ties is highly encouraged in Islam. However, we must remember that Zakat al Fitr is not a simple gift. It is an act of worship. That has big law, that has specific rules and conditions. If we give it to someone who is already wealthy, we may unintentionally prevent a needy person from receiving the help they deserve. Think about the many families who quietly struggle every single day. There are individuals who work tirelessly yet still cannot afford basic necessities. There are parents who worry about how they will provide food for their children during Eid. For such people, the charity of Zakat al Fitr is not just a small contribution. It is a source of relief and dignity. It allows them to celebrate Eid without feeling left out or embarrassed. The teachings of Islam, guided by the wisdom of the Quran and the example of Muhammad, emphasize that wealth is a trust from Allah. It is not only meant for our own comfort, but also to support those who are less fortunate. When we give charity correctly, we become part of a system that uplifts the entire community. The wealthy are reminded to be grateful and generous, while the poor are protected from hardship and neglect. It is also important to understand that Islam does not criticize wealth itself. Being wealthy is not a sin. In fact, many righteous people throughout Islamic history were wealthy and used their resources to help others. What Islam teaches us is responsibility. If Allah has blessed someone with abundance, that person should not be taking charity meant for the needy. Instead, they should be among those who give. So when distributing Zakat al Fitr, we must be mindful and thoughtful. Look for those who genuinely struggle. Seek out individuals who may be too shy to ask for help. There are often people in our neighborhoods, workplace or communities who quietly endure financial difficulty. When we support them, we are fulfilling the true spirit of charity. My dear brothers and sisters, charity is not only about giving something away. It is about understanding the wisdom behind our actions and ensuring that our worship is done correctly. When we give Zakat al Fitr to those who truly need it, we spread happiness, strengthen our community, and bring ourselves closer to the mercy of Allah. And sometimes that single act of sincere charity may become the reason our fasts are accepted and our sins are forgiven. My beloved brothers and sisters, as the blessed month of Ramadan comes to an end and we prepare ourselves for the joy of Eid al-Fitr, we are reminded of the important obligation known as Zakat al Fitr. This charity is not simply a cultural tradition, it is an act of worship designed to purify our fasting and to bring relief to those who are struggling. It ensures that even the most vulnerable members of our community can celebrate Eid with dignity and happiness. But Islam, in its wisdom, provides clear guidelines about who can receive this charity and who cannot. Among the people who should not receive Zakat al Fitr are those whose financial responsibility already lies upon you. Islam teaches us that before we think about charity, we must first fulfill our responsibilities. If someone is under your care and you are obligated to provide for their basic needs, then giving them Zakat al Fitr would not be valid. This is because the support you provide for them is already a duty that Allah has placed upon you. Think about the beautiful system that Islam establishes within families. Each person has a role, each person has responsibilities, and these responsibilities ensure that no one is neglected. A parent is responsible for providing for their young children. A husband is responsible for providing for his wife. Guardians are responsible for those who depend on them. These responsibilities are not optional acts of kindness. They are obligations that carry great reward when fulfilled sincerely. Now, imagine one neglecting their responsibility and then claiming that they are giving charity. That would defeat the purpose of both responsibility and charity. Islam does not allow a person to replace their duties with acts of charity. If you are responsible for feeding someone, clothing them and ensuring their well-being, then you must do so from your own wealth and effort. Zakat al Fitr is meant for those who do not have someone responsible for their support. This teaching protects families from injustice and neglect. It ensures that people cannot avoid their obligations while pretending to be generous. When every individual fulfills their duties, the entire community becomes stronger and more balanced. Let us reflect on how beautifully organized this system is. Within a household, everyone is taken care of through responsibility and compassion. Outside the household, those who are struggling receive support through charity. In this way, no one is forgotten and no one is left behind. The guidance of the Quran and the teachings of Muhammad constantly remind us that responsibility and generosity go hand in hand. When we fulfill our obligations first and then extend our charity to others, we create a society that is both caring and just. My dear brothers and sisters, sometimes we may think that giving charity automatically makes us righteous. But true righteousness lies in following the guidance of Islam correctly. If someone under your care needs food, clothing, or financial support, that responsibility belongs to you. It cannot be replaced by zakat. Instead, you should provide for them generously and sincerely, knowing that every effort you make is an act of worship. Then, once your responsibilities are fulfilled, you can distribute your Zakat al Fitr to those who truly need it. There are many individuals who do not have a family member responsible for them, people who struggle quietly without asking for help. When we reach out to them with sincere charity, we fulfill the true purpose of zakat. Remember, Islam does not separate family responsibility from community care. It combines both in a perfect balance. When we honor our duties and give charity correctly, we strengthen our families, uplift the needy, and earn the pleasure of Allah. And perhaps through one sincere act of responsibility and one sincere act of charity, Allah may accept our fasting and shower us with His mercy. My beloved brothers and sisters, as the blessed days of Ramadan draw to a close and we prepare for the happiness of Eid al Fitr, we are reminded of the important act of worship known as Zakat al Fitr. This charity is a beautiful system within Islam designed to purify our fasting and ensure that those who are less fortunate can also celebrate Eid with dignity and joy. It reminds us that our acts of worship are not only about our relationship with Allah, but also about caring for the people around us. Among the people who should not receive Zakat al Fitr are our own parents and grandparents. At first, this might surprise some people because Islam constantly encourages kindness and generosity toward parents. However, when we look deeper into the wisdom of Islamic teachings, we begin to understand the reason behind this rule. Parents hold a very special position in Islam. They are among the greatest blessings that Allah has given us in this world. They carried us when we were weak. They supported us when we were helpless. And they sacrificed countless comforts so that we could grow and succeed. Many parents spend their entire lives working hard, losing sleep and enduring difficulties simply to ensure that their children have a better future. Because of this immense sacrifice, Islam places a strong responsibility on children to care for their parents. They grow older. If parents fall into financial difficulty, their children are obligated to support them. This support must come from their own wealth and effort, not from Zakat al Fitr. The reason is simple. Helping parents is not considered charity. It is considered a duty and an act of gratitude. Imagine someone giving zakat to their parents while ignoring their daily needs. That would contradict the very spirit of Islam. When Allah commands us to honor our parents, He expects us to take responsibility for their well-being with sincerity and love. The guidance found in the Quran repeatedly reminds believers to treat their parents with kindness and humility. Their rights are among the greatest rights after the worship of Allah. When we care for our parents, speak to them gently and support them in times of need, we are performing one of the most beloved acts of worship. The teachings and example of Muhammad also emphasize the importance of serving our parents. There are many narrations in which the Prophet explained that serving one's parents can be a path to paradise. Even a simple act of kindness toward them can bring immense reward. When we understand this wisdom, we realize that Islam is not preventing us from helping our parents. In fact, it is encouraging us to help them even more. Instead of giving them Zakat al Fitr, we are expected to provide for them generously from our own wealth. This type of support carries great reward because it reflects gratitude, love, and responsibility. My dear brothers and sisters, supporting our parents is not a burden, it is an honor. Many people around the world wish they still had their parents with them so they could serve them and earn that reward. If your parents are alive, cherish them. Speak to them kindly, spend time with them and assist them in every way possible. And if they are in financial difficulty, support them wholeheartedly. Do not treat it as charity. Treat it as a privilege given to you by Allah. When you care for your parents sincerely, you are fulfilling a responsibility that carries immense blessings. Zakat al Fitr, on the other hand, should be given to those who fall into the eligible categories of recipients. People who may not have anyone responsible for their support. By following these guidelines, we ensure that our charity reaches those who truly need it, while our parents receive the love, respect, and support they rightfully deserve. When we practice this balance correctly, we strengthen our families, support our communities, and bring ourselves closer to the mercy of Allah. And perhaps through serving our parents sincerely and giving charity properly, Allah will accept our fasting and grant us His endless blessings. My beloved brothers and sisters, as the blessed month of Ramadan comes to its beautiful conclusion and we prepare our hearts for the joy of Eid al Fitr, we are reminded of one of the important acts of worship connected to this blessed time, and that is Zakat al Fitr. This charity carries deep wisdom. It purifies our fast from any shortcomings and ensures that those who are struggling can also share in the happiness of Eid. Islam teaches us that worship is not only about prayer and fasting, but also about caring for people and fulfilling our responsibilities toward them. Among the groups of people who should not receive Zakat al Fitr from us are our own children and grandchildren. At first, some may wonder why this is the case, especially if a child or grandchild is experiencing financial difficulty. But when we look closely at the teachings of Islam, we discover the wisdom behind this rule. In Islam, parents carry the responsibility of providing for their children. This responsibility includes ensuring that children have food, clothing, shelter, and all the basic necessities they need to live with dignity. This obligation continues until the children grow up and are able to support themselves independently. Because this responsibility already exists, giving Zakat al Fitr to one's own children would not be valid. The reason is simple. Zakat al Fitr is meant to assist those who do not already have someone responsible for their care. A parent cannot replace their duty with charity. If a father or mother were to give Zakat al Fitr to their children while neglecting their normal responsibility to support them, it would defeat the purpose of both responsibility and charity. Islam beautifully balances family responsibility with community care. Within the family, each member is protected through obligations and duties. Outside the family, those who are struggling receive help through charity. This system ensures that everyone in society is supported in one way or another. The guidance of the Quran reminds believers to care for their families and fulfill their responsibilities with sincerity. When parents spend their wealth on their children with good intentions, that spending itself becomes an act of worship. Every meal provided, every piece of clothing purchased, and every effort made to educate and nurture a child can carry immense reward in the sight of Allah. The example and teachings of Muhammad also highlight the importance of caring for one's family. Providing for your children is not simply a worldly duty, it is a spiritual act that earns reward when done sincerely for the sake of Allah. Think about the beautiful relationship between parents and children. Parents sacrifice so much to ensure their children grow up safely and successfully. They wake up early to work, they worry about their children's future, and they dedicate countless hours to raising them with love and guidance. These sacrifices are recognized and honored in Islam. When parents fulfill their responsibility toward their children, they strengthen the foundation of the family. Strong families create strong communities, and strong communities create a society where compassion and responsibility flourish. If a child or grandchild is facing financial difficulty, the parent or grandparent should help them generously from their own wealth. That support is part of their duty and carries great reward. But the Zakat al Fitr itself should be directed toward those who truly qualify for it. People who do not have someone responsible for providing for them. My dear brothers and sisters, Islam teaches us that every blessing we have is a trust from Allah. Our wealth, our families, and our opportunities are all gifts that come with responsibility. When we fulfill our duties toward our children and then extend charity to those in need, we follow the beautiful balance that Islam teaches. By doing this, we ensure that our worship is sincere and our charity reaches the right people. And perhaps through these sincere efforts, caring for our children and helping the needy, Allah will accept our fasting, forgive our shortcomings, and allow us to celebrate Eid with hearts full of gratitude and peace. My beloved brothers and sisters, as we approach the joyful occasion of Eid al Fitr, we are reminded of the sacred responsibility of giving Zakat al Fitr. This charity is not simply an act of giving, it is an act of worship that purifies our fast, strengthens our faith, and ensures that those in need can celebrate Eid with dignity and happiness. Islam provides clear guidelines on who should receive Zakat al Fitr, and it also teaches us about the responsibilities we carry toward our family members. One of the groups that should not receive Zakat al Fitr from us is our spouse. Marriage in Islam is built upon of mercy and mutual responsibility. A husband is responsible for providing for his wife's needs, including food, clothing, and shelter. This obligation is not optional. It is a duty prescribed by Allah and a form of worship when carried out with sincerity. Similarly, a wife may have responsibilities toward her husband, depending on the circumstances of the marriage. But the essential point is that the financial care of one spouse is already an obligation. Because of this, Zakat al Fitr cannot be given to one spouse, since this charity is specifically intended for those who are needy and do not already have someone responsible for their sustenance. It is important to understand the wisdom behind this rule. Giving Zakat al Fitr to one spouse would blur the lines between obligation and charity. When you are responsible for someone's needs, meeting those needs from your own wealth is not considered charity. It is fulfilling a responsibility. Charity, on the other hand, is meant to support someone who does not have anyone obligated to care for them. By keeping these two separate, Islam ensures fairness, clarity, and balance within the family and the wider community. Imagine a husband providing for his wife faithfully, ensuring she has all that she needs with love and sincerity. Every meal, every provision, and every effort is an act of worship. Allah sees this and it carries immense reward. Similarly, the wife's obedience, support, and cooperation, when done in accordance with Islamic teachings, is also rewarded. By maintaining this balance, Islam strengthens the foundation of the family, ensuring that responsibilities are fulfilled and that the household runs smoothly. Furthermore, the guidance of the Quran reminds us that a righteous and caring relationship between spouses is among the most beloved acts in the eyes of Allah. It is an act of mercy, cooperation, and mutual respect. A husband who supports his wife and the wife who fulfills her role with sincerity both earn the pleasure of Allah. Zakat al Fitr therefore should be directed outward to those who do not have a provider, ensuring that the community as a whole benefits from this charity. Some people may wonder whether a wife can give zakat to her husband if he is in need. Scholars have discussed certain circumstances where this may be permissible, particularly if the husband is genuinely poor and the wife has surplus wealth. However, generally speaking, Zakat al Fitr is designated for eligible recipients outside one's immediate family obligations. The purpose is clear: to support those who cannot provide for themselves and to maintain fairness in the distribution of charity. My dear brothers and sisters, marriage is not only a relationship of love, it is a partnership of responsibility. The care you provide for your spouse is itself a form of worship, and it strengthens the moral, spiritual, and emotional foundation of the family. By separating the obligations within the household from the acts of charity to the wider community, Islam ensures that everyone's rights are respected. When we fulfill our duties toward our spouse with sincerity and then give Zakat al Fitr to those who are truly eligible, we uphold the beautiful balance that Allah has established. We care for our family while also supporting the needy, spreading happiness and strengthening the bonds of our community. And perhaps through our sincere efforts, Allah will accept our fasting, reward our worship, and bless us abundantly on this blessed day of Eid. My beloved brothers and sisters, as the blessed month of Ramadan comes to a close and the excitement of Eid al-Fitr draws near, we are reminded of the important act of worship known as Zakat al Fitr. This charity carries deep wisdom, not on purifying our fast, but also allowing those in need to celebrate Eid with dignity, joy, and relief. Islam is a religion that combines spirituality with practical guidance, and Zakat al Fitr is a perfect example of this balance. It is meant to help those who are struggling to uplift their spirits and to strengthen the bonds of the Muslim community. Among the groups who should not receive Zakat al Fitr are those who openly reject or oppose Islam. Zakat al Fitr is a form of charity specifically designated for Muslims who are in need. Its purpose is to ensure that every Muslim, regardless of their social or financial situation, can enjoy the blessings and happiness of Eid. This distinction is important because Islam encourages generosity toward all people. But Zakat al Fitr has a defined purpose and set of eligible recipients. It is essential to understand the wisdom behind this rule. Charity in Islam is not only an act of giving, it is also a structured system intended to achieve justice, balance, and community cohesion. If Zakat al Fitr were given to those outside the faith, it would not fulfill its intended purpose. The charity could end up supporting someone who already has sufficient means, while a struggling Muslim who relies on the support of the community might go without. By directing Zakat al Fitr to those eligible, Islam ensures that the blessings of Ramadan extend to those who are meant to receive them. At the same time, Islam does not discourage kindness or generosity toward non-Muslims. There are countless ways to help anyone in need, regardless of faith, through voluntary charity, sadaqah, acts of kindness and community service. These actions are highly encouraged and carry reward from Allah. However, Zakat al Fitr is specifically intended to help needy Muslims celebrate Eid with dignity. It strengthens the unity of the Muslim community and fulfill the social and spiritual objectives of this special charity. Think about the many individuals in our communities who struggle quietly. Some may not have family support, some may have lost loved ones, some may be dealing with financial hardships that prevent them from celebrating Eid properly. For these people, Zakat al Fitr is not just financial assistance. It is a means of bringing joy, hope, and dignity into their lives. It allows them to participate fully in the celebrations, eat well, and feel included in the blessings of the day. This is the heart of the purpose of Zakat al Fitr. The guidance of the Quran and the teachings of Muhammad emphasize the importance of supporting fellow Muslims in times of need. Giving charity correctly is an act of worship that strengthens the community, purifies our wealth, and earns immense reward from Allah. When we follow these instructions, we are participating in a divine system designed to promote compassion, fairness, and unity. My dear brothers and sisters, it is also a reminder to be mindful and deliberate in our giving. Every act of charity should be done with sincerity, with the intention of pleasing Allah, and with awareness of who is eligible. Misallocating Zakat al Fitr, even unintentionally, diminishes the purpose of this sacred act. Islam encourages careful thought, planning, and responsibility in all matters of worship, including charity. By ensuring that Zakat al Fitr reaches those who are truly in need and are eligible, we not only fulfill our religious obligations, but also spread joy and relief to those who deserve it. We uphold the social justice and spiritual wisdom that Islam teaches. And perhaps through giving sincerely and following Allah's guidance, our fasts will be accepted, our sins forgiven, and our hearts filled with gratitude and peace on the blessed day of Eid. My beloved brothers and sisters, as we reflect on the wisdom of Zakat al Fitr, we realize that this act of worship is far more than a simple gift. It is a responsibility, a purification of our fast, and a means of bringing joy and dignity to those in need. Islam teaches us to be thoughtful, sincere, and just in giving, ensuring that our charity reaches the right people, the truly needy, while fulfilling our obligations toward our family and loved ones. From avoiding giving Zakat al Fitr to the wealthy, to those already under our care, to parents, children, spouses, and those who reject the faith, each guideline has wisdom behind it. These rules protect both the sanctity of the act and the rights of the community, ensuring fairness and compassion in our giving. By understanding and following these principles, we not only support those who genuinely need our help, but we also honor our responsibilities, strengthen our families, and uplift our communities. My dear brothers and sisters, charity in Islam is not just about wealth. It is about intention, responsibility, and love. When we give sincerely and wisely, Zakat al Fitr becomes a powerful tool to purify our hearts, strengthen our faith, and spread happiness. Let us approach this act with mindfulness, giving to those who truly deserve it, and in doing so, earn the pleasure of Allah. May our fasting, prayers, and charity be accepted, and may we celebrate Eid with hearts full of gratitude, compassion, and joy. Ameen.